What is up, guys? Damage per Second podcast, episode 159. 159. So it's been a great couple of weeks. Sorry that we didn't do a show last week. We literally forgot. Well, we didn't forget that it was the holidays.
It was Thanksgiving.
But we literally forgot that we never tweeted out or said anything about it. So
I did.
we're here today. Well, no, I'm saying we sent it out late. I'm just saying we didn't mention it earlier. That's what I meant. But no, shout out to you guys. Shout out to everybody in the chat. Really appreciate everybody coming through. Tell us in the chat how your holiday was and what was the surprise thing that happened to you over the course of the last couple of weeks, and name that one family member that got on your absolute nerve. Because everybody, trust me, it's a safe place here on DPS. Everybody has that family member that literally comes to their house and gets on their nerves during during Thanksgiving, and you want them to go. But with that being said, I definitely want to say hello to the man, the myth, the legend, the man of many slaps, the man that has, been doing his thing, on X, the platform, and on YouTube, and in these video game streets, the homie Slow-Mo Backslap. How are you doing today, sir?
Yo, what's up? What's up, chat? What's up, everybody? Slow-Mo Backslap here, slapping you with it. I'm not doing a video. I'm just saying. No, it's
Go ahead and do it. Slapping you with another video.
No, I'm not, because it's a video. It's a podcast. Slapping you another podcast. Here we go.
There you
go. Been pretty good. Today has been kind of crazy. Been doing a whole bunch of stuff today, but it's been good. And I've got a chance to play some games. Been playing a whole lot of Cyberpunk, and also playing a whole lot of Call of Duty Modern Warfare 3. Actually got a chance to play with Game & Forte. Me and Sir Taz, shout out to Taz.
Yeah. He was out there lighting people up.
Yeah, we was having a good time, man. It was a good time, even though the
man, the cheaters is out.
Yeah, man, you be seeing some things. You just like how did you pull that off? It's very, very questionable, but
questionable.
And not all PC guys, because I gotta like clarify that, because our homie Taz, every time he thinks there's a PC cheater in the lobby, he has to loudly let the both of us know.
Let us both know he's cheating.
Right. But when we saw some very questionable events occur, and we know the entire lobby is nothing but Xbox and PlayStation guys, except for me. I'm the only guy on PC from what we could tell from when the match starts. Very, very quiet. It's very, it's very chill. Just like, that guy just, definitely knew I was coming around the corner with my stalker boots on, with my ghost on, with literally everything to silence me. And this guy just knew I was coming, headshot me immediately, and didn't miss a single shot. Very curious guy on Xbox, But if only there was some kind of technology that a platform could deploy to prevent cheaters from using things like Zim and Cronus to stop, cheating on your platform. If only there was some kind of technology or API already created to prevent that from happening, we wouldn't be dealing with this.
Yep, we wouldn't be dealing with this. But guess what? There is something out there that's for that, and they choose not to use it.
What? Really?
They choose not to use it.
How dare? For what reason would you just, choose to allow hackers and cheaters to cheat? I mean, it can't be just because they spend money like everybody else.
Yeah, man. They ban their consoles and they ban their Xbox Live accounts, and then yet they allow them to make new ones so they can keep getting more money off of them. It's a vicious circle, man. It's a vicious circle. I definitely agree. I wanted to say shout out to the chat. Some of the people that was here. Soldier for Life said, "I'm here too early." He literally showed up right when I put the stream up at 4:30. So thanks for being here. I know that's one person that's got the notification. I mean, at 8:30. I know that's one person that has the notification bell turned on because he literally came into the stream. What up? So if you didn't know, if you hit the notification bell, you'll know every time we go live. You don't have to rely on, me not posting a Twitter link for you to know that way. But also, Brian East, shout out to you. Shout out to Capono. Grumpy Seaman. Shout out to, let's see, the Dark Lord Fusion, FTW, Mitchie Dies a Lot. Slow-mo always saying stuff in the chat. Really appreciate you guys getting here super early. Shout out to the 21 people here. Make sure you hit the like button on the stream. It's going to be a great time. Not a lot of stuff really happened over the course of the last couple of weeks, but we do still got a lot of stuff that we could actually, focus on.
Are you sure?
Go ahead. I mean, it's some stuff that nothing important, but it's a lot of stupid stuff that happened.
People seem to have a lot to talk about. Is all I'm saying.
No, listen. It's people found stuff to manufacture talk about over, and I mean, I guess that's what it is when you're doing podcasts. You gotta find a reason to have a show every week, and the little things that happen, you definitely need to talk about, but yeah, we'll get into that. But so much with that being said, you've been, we beat one playthrough of Remnant. We gotta get back in there and do another one. Right. We've been playing Call of Duty. Shout out to that. What else you been doing, man?
I'm still being a whale on Fortnite. I bought
a whale on Fortnite.
I bought the Eminem skin.
You finally adopted it, huh?
The emote with the Slim Shady emote. I did all that. I haven't really been playing Fortnite because I've been basically.
Oh, so you like me just turning it on just to see what's in the store?
Oh, only no. I mean, like I saw on Twitter that the Eminem skin was there. I knew weeks ago they were dropping it, but I haven't been paying attention because I've been playing mostly just Call of Duty and Cyberpunk. And at this point now, I have 3 separate characters in Cyberpunk, 3 separate playthroughs. I beat Phantom Liberty last week. Excellent expansion. It's still not an ongoing game, but excellent expansion. Storytelling, awesome. Still doesn't deserve to be nominated for best narrative against full games, but excellent. If there was a best expansion / DLC of the year, it would win hands down. It would be a landslide. Everyone will vote for it. It's that good. Idris Elba, excellent. Like you can really like. It's like the difference between someone like and no shade to this guy, but like Young Ye doing voice acting and like a real actor like Elba doing voice out like this. It was child's play to him. Like I mean the way he like the way he can invoke emotion in those lines for his character Solomon Reed. Freaking excellent. And he's not even like the only good character. There's other characters like Alex, Songbird. I think the only weak spot to the story, I think the villain's very generic, the main villain Hansen, but he's not really important to the full story for those who've played it. It's just really good. And I like how they've included new weapons and gear and cyberware that really kind of creates more build diversity in the game. For 2 out of my 3 builds, the newer stuff I'm looking forward to using because I have an idea, especially for my net runner, of using a particular particular piece of cyberware that can actually like make like my net runner even more dangerous. So I've been doing that, just grinding in that, and like I said, playing Cyberpunk. I said Cyberpunk, sorry, Call of Duty. And I've been playing with Taz mostly. I played with you a little bit last night, but I've been for me when the mark of that you're really having fun with a multiplayer game isn't the fun that you have with other people, because that should be a given. If your game is halfway decent, you should be able to have fun with other people.
Right.
I'm having fun playing by myself, even though like my skill-based matchmaking is a bit ridiculous. Like it's a bit like when I play by myself, I need to make sure I am refreshed. I
Right.
am I'm wide awake. I am alert. I need to do like hand exercises, pause, to like stretch my thumbs out. I need to
Right.
make sure I'm good, like I'm tuned in, I'm locked in, because if not, I'm getting clapped.
Yeah,
Just
that's
hope-
kind of how it goes.
but it's been good. It's been good. What have you been playing over the past 2 weeks? It's been.
Shoot, man, Battlefield, literally, that's it. I've been playing that. Um, I did jump into Final Fantasy
Seven
Integrate.
remake.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Integrate on PC because I want to get through that because Rebirth is going to be here before we know it. So I've
Yeah.
definitely
When
jumped
when
into
that
the.
when I'm done with Cyberpunk,
That's
I
what.
got a couple of games I'm a beat, like smaller games that I'll be real quick to beat, and I
Mm-hmm.
and I got some other longer games that like well, I'm gonna play Persona 5 Tactica, but and some other little smaller games, but I'm redoing I'm running through Final Fantasy 7 remake and Integrate for the third time in anticipation of Rebirth, because it's gotta get done, man. I gotta do it again. It's gotta all be fresh in your mind. But like for you, this is excellent. I actually kind of feel like we should do a
We should it because I
not a
got some.
spoiler cast, but like a discuss, like when you beat the game, so
Yeah.
that we can like, and you beat Integrate, so that you be completely like right there where it's gonna leave off. Right before Rebirth comes out, we just sit down and just talk about everything,
Mm-hmm.
story,
I agree.
gameplay, everything they're showing us that they're adding, all that stuff, so that we can be just like, and I know there's a lot of people in the chat that are really locked in and can't wait for that game too, that we can all
Right.
really just like have a great discussion on it, because it's
I agree.
gonna be one
I
of the biggest
agree.
games next year.
Oh yeah, yeah, definitely. It's gonna. I mean, dude, it might be. I mean, depending on. I mean, when it comes to games that we actually know about, it might be the biggest game that we know about for 2024.
Yeah,
So
I mean, let's
definitely,
confirm. I mean, I feel like
that's
there's so
confirmed.
much.
Exactly.
I feel like when after the video game awards, we'll have a better
A better.
idea
Yeah.
of what to expect for 2024. Like I fully expect there to be some kind of Hellblade announcement, because I don't see that on the list, but Hellblade 2 got rated in some country. I think it was India or
Yeah.
Korea.
Yeah. I saw it. I think they're going to
So
show it at the Game Awards, but that's going to be part of the conversation we have later.
we know exactly what better be shown.
Oh.
Because
It's a,
I'm telling you, if I see Senua walking around talking to herself
yeah.
one more time,
Hey,
we gonna have a problem. Yeah,
I literally said they better not show another piece of content on that game that doesn't show that.
yeah. And the wild thing is that everything they keep showing about, I still don't know what the game's about.
No
Like
one knows.
I play
Because the
Hellblade.
story, because basically she kind of came to at the end of Senua's sacrifice, she came
Right,
to bear and grip with the situation she was in, and
right,
she
right.
came to understanding, with laying her lover to rest and everything and all of that stuff that kind of happened in that game. All of those demons were kind of put to the side, and she came to like a sense of peace. So
Yeah.
this isn't like it's I don't even it's definitely a continuation,
Right,
but
it's
we
the
don't know
sequel,
what it
but
is though.
yeah, we don't know. Does she have a relapse or something? And
Yeah,
she's in, her and her split personalities is at it again, and then she's fighting.
yeah, 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 yeah.
We or is it real now? Is it like, are you really fighting? Are you really with your tribe or whoever, and you're fighting real people?
Right.
Who the heck knows? Because we literally don't know anything about this game, and this game was shown first when the Xbox Series X was shown. So that was
Sh-
4 years ago.
Yep, sure was.
So they gotta come correct. But
Yeah,
it's Ninja Theory. I
I
have a lot of
believe.
confidence in them. You know, like I've liked a lot of their content. I mean, I even like the one game people want to pretend like never existed, Bleeding Edge. So I'm confident that they can deliver. I have some of that confidence has been dwindled away with the lack of combat shown, because that's been their forte, you know, so to speak. And
Right.
so far I ain't seen it. I ain't seen anything. But yeah,
Uh, yeah. So
you want to just
with
get
that,
into it? Let's do
yeah,
it.
let's get into it. So, let's go through the list of them. We got Jim Ryan eking big deals before he retired, before retirement.
In
We're
this
gonna talk
white
about
tee,
in his white tee.
I
He's
signed
straight up.
deals in
No,
my white tee.
he literally seems like a person that is super comfortable right now. That man, like, I don't care. I'm out the door in like 6 months.
That
I
man
don't,
showed up with a dirty white tee with stains
no,
on it,
man.
sweatpants on,
That
some New Balances. He was like, yeah, I don't dress up no
Man,
more. I'm
that
done with that.
man literally got a
Those days
white
are over.
tee on, bro. When I saw that white tee, I was like, this man is super comfortable. But we gonna talk about that. We got a survey that shows that 22% of children don't want physical games for the holidays no more, meaning that people got to buy them digital content. That's another thing. Do you want another Borderland games? There's a couple of nice little nuggets in there talking about some sequels that we're going to get, also another sequel to a RTS that a lot of people probably haven't played in a while. Then we're going to get in really into it. We got to talk about the CFO of Xbox coming out here telling all
Did
the
you hear
good,
all that?
telling all the goods.
I just
Uh,
had like
hmm?
500 Red Bulls fall out of
No,
my
I didn't
little
hear it. That
little
means your mic
refrigerator.
is really good. Wait, how many Red Bulls do you got in your refrigerator?
Well, it's like a little, you know, those
I
what do they
know
call them?
the
Little
mini fridge.
mini fridge. Yeah, I got it in my
How
office,
many you
right?
got in there?
Well, it was a 12 pack, and it was like sideways, and I was trying to get one, but I hadn't opened the box yet, and so I was like trying to get them out, and it was just like they just spilled all out, you
Instead of
know. It just
so basically you were being lazy, opening the side of the box, and they all just started spilling out.
you don't know where, like, the movement. I'm trying to be professional and still be engaged in the show while I'm trying to also get a
Your
Red Bull.
your
Okay.
your mic isn't. You act like your mic is across the room from your refrigerator. It's probably right next to your desk.
No way. Stop
Meaning you
judging
could
me.
just bend over, pause,
First of
and
all,
grab a
first of
Red
all,
Bull.
first of all, stop judging me, okay?
Okay, I'm
Stop
not going
that.
to. I am. So we're going to talk about the CFO has a lot to say about everything going on that he wants to see with Xbox. We got what is the Xbox tax because your boy
We
Forte and
talked
your boy.
about this already.
No, but we're gonna talk about it a little bit more because there's a little bit. This
It's
is
been
still a
two
little
weeks,
bit.
y'all. It's been
It's
2 weeks.
still going on. What is really the Xbox tax? And then we're going to talk about Xbox says stay tuned for the Game Awards, and we're going to talk about that. So slow mo. Let's
Yeah.
start off. Let's talk about Jim Ryan and his white tee. He getting down in his white tee. I want to ask you this: does that look like a man that got fired from Sony out here eking deals with NC Soft? You think Sony would
Not
let him
really.
eat? Do you think Sony would allow that man to be signing $1 million deals for them when he's supposedly about to walk out the front door because they fired him? What do you think, Slow-Mo?
I think he's done, but he's done because he wanted to be done.
You want to be done?
I think also some of the issues that they've been dealing with like the games as a service games, them not really clearly when you delay 50% of them, it ain't turn out the way you thought it would. I think that that and him having to have to deal with all these layoffs, he was just like, the business is good. All these trials and tribulations that we're gonna have to overcome. I ain't here for this no more. I've done my time. I'm home for like 7 days out of a month. I think it's time to give someone pass that torch to someone else. Which, I mean, can you? I'm not going to judge someone in that position. That's a very hard position, right? He didn't do the job as long as other people have. But he is seemingly going out on his own accord, unlike people like Sean Layden.
Yeah.
And so, hey, good for him. I do think it was, if anything, at the very least, a mutual choice for him to go. Um, but clearly not something that was well planned, because typically when someone in that kind of position is leaving, there's a handoff. There's a you got your you get your candidates of who you want to make the replacement, and then you kind of make sure those people can act that person has everything they need before you go out the door. And then it's like passing the baton in track.
Right.
If you do it correctly, you're running, that person starts running, and then you pass them that baton while they're also already ramping up to full speed, and then it's a smooth transition.
Right.
And I don't think, like, when you don't know who the next CEO is of PlayStation, and you got the CFO for Sony running things in the meantime, or not necessarily, like, he's not running everything clearly, because Jim Ryan, like white tee guy out here,
Mm-hmm.
dirty white shirt signing deals, but it's still, that's not a smooth transition when you don't know who the next person is. Although I do think they might have an idea just
They
based
got
off
yeah.
some decisions they've made. Like, it wouldn't surprise me if Herman Hulst is the next dude,
Yeah.
because if you look at some of the decisions they made when they got rid of who was the young lady that they fired, kind of unceremoniously. I can't remember her name, but
Connie, you know, Connie something.
Booth or whatever. Okay, so Connie, right?
Connie Booth. Yeah, Connie
Yeah.
Booth.
She was replaced by someone who did a similar role at Guerrilla Games.
Guerrilla Games. Yeah.
So again, Herman Holtz came from Guerrilla Games. If Herman might be the next dude up, it would make sense that Herman would hire someone that he's comfortable with, someone that he's worked with previously in the past, instead of an unknown commodity. So it just kind of, like, I don't know, that's speculation on my part. I haven't heard anything. This isn't me pretending like I'm speculating, but it's really what I really know. No, this is full on speculation. I have no idea who it really is, but it wouldn't
Right.
surprise me if it was Herman.
Yeah, so this is what they had to. So based on this partnership, NC Soft and SIE will collaborate globally in various business fields, including mobile. Both companies are exploring all possibilities to leverage NC Soft's technology capabilities and SIE's global entertainment leadership to foster strategic synergy. And this is with Hygiene Kim said, through our partnership with SIE, we will leverage the core competencies, technologies, and expertise of both companies.
Who said this?
What'd you say?
What was the person's name who said that?
Hygiene Kim.
Okay.
What?
I thought you said tight jeans, but I don't know.
Hygiene Kim.
No,
Yeah.
we apologize.
Yeah,
we apologize.
No, not tight jeans.
A mispronunciation or a mishearing on my part.
Exactly.
Go ahead, continue.
We considered competency, technology, and expertise in both companies to create various synergies. We plan to deliver new experiences that can be enjoyed across genres and regions. And then Jim Ryan came out and said, our partnership with NCSoft further advances our strategy to bring the world of PlayStation beyond consoles to the broader audience. Like SIE, NCSoft is committed to creating high quality, impactful entertainment experiences with a shared vision to reach every player in the world. We look forward to working together to push boundaries in gaming. So this is nothing new. This is kind of what the plan, especially under Jim Ryan, this was what the plan of being in more places, broadening the PlayStation scope, doing the same thing that Xbox is pretty much doing. The thing is, they're doing it in a much smaller scale, little by little. They're not basically all in like Xbox did, over the course of the last couple of years. So this is just the first step in their partnership in doing stuff like this. So, nothing new. I just find it real interesting that, Jim Ryan was fired all like literally for the half of all of 2023. But the man's got a like. Do you see that smile on that face, man? Got a smile on his face.
Yeah,
Got a
he's
white
relaxing.
tee. He's
You know,
dog. I'm telling
it
you,
wouldn't
he's
surprise me at
super
all
relaxed.
if he's also not quite doing the role the way he was before.
No, yeah,
Like
he probably
if
stepped back a
he's just,
lot.
yeah, if he's just basically just chilling in the UK now. He's getting work done, and of course he had to go out to Korea to be there. In his bedroom wear, in his
He
comfort wear.
probably didn't even. He's probably not traveling. No, that might be part because when he said that he didn't like traveling from country to country as much as he was doing under his position. He probably hasn't done that as much. He's probably especially this time of year, you're not really doing a lot of that traveling and stuff. You're kind of more at home base. But this man looks super comfortable, and I'm happy for him, man. A lot of people felt like I always said I felt like Jim Ryan was the best thing that could happen to PlayStation during one of the worst financial crises that we can go through when it came to the pandemic that we went through, because he found a way to stabilize the company and make sure the company stayed profitable. Now, the decisions that he made when it came to like games as a service and everything like that, a lot of people may not like that direction. I don't think they should have went 100% in and saying we want 15 live service games by 2026 or 12 of them, they said. I don't think they should have went that cold blunt with it. But I don't disagree with the direction. I just think they kind of just bit off more than they can chew, and they made a lot of financial decisions that was going to impact them in the current, the near future. But PlayStation is going to be fine, and Jim Ryan, did what he was supposed to do when it came to keeping the company afloat during that time of everything happening. So good for him, smiling, white tee, and everything.
I really want to kind of discuss some things that I've noticed with the moves they've been making in Korea, and it's something that I said that Xbox should have been doing years ago. So like on my channel, a small little video that only maybe like 200 people viewed, I said that Xbox needs to forget trying to make not that necessarily just give up on it, but like don't stop focusing so much on trying to develop a studio or acquire a studio in Japan, but instead kind of look at Korea. Korea has a very big PC player base, which is something that they're also as a part of the Xbox ecosystem. They they have a lot of studios that make a focus on making sure that the visuals are really good. They have a lot of studios that make a lot of interesting content. And these aren't small studios. Like people think about, so Sony has entered into a second party partnership with Shift Up, which is the developer for Stellar Blade, aka Stellar Yams. But like that developer, Shift Up, hasn't made anything but like mobile games before this. And a lot of them are kind of like that mobile kind of, what's the word I'm looking for? You know how like you're scrolling through Twitter and you see some anime girl with huge, yeah, So it's just like it's one of those. They kind of used to make those kind of games. Tay Talk says gotcha games. A little gotcha, also a little yeah, you know why you bought that game, and it wasn't because the gameplay was good. Okay, all right,
right.
So they, and which is, you see a little of that with Stellar Blade, because you see what the main character looked like, but the gameplay does look good. It's just that's an unproven studio. We don't quite know yet, but there are other very proven studios. I've been doing a lot of content on the First Descendant. That's made by Nexon, which is a huge Korean publisher. They make a lot of games. There's Pearl Abyss that makes Black Desert Online, the MMO. They're making Crimson Desert that everyone has seen and looks really good. There is Smilegate, yeah, Crossfire X, absolute disaster, one of the worst first-person shooters to ever release. That said, the actual Crossfire game is like the Korean version of CS:GO, and it's really, really popular. But these are all like market cap billion-dollar studios and companies in Korea in gaming that really could have, if you wanted to have an Eastern presence, that to me that would have been the way to go. And I know they tried to make some inroads with Smilegate, but just I think the entire endeavor with Smilegate was just really ill conceived. You helped create a way for Remedy, who doesn't do first person shooters, to do the campaign on a first person shooter using not their engine, the Northlight engine, but using the engine that Smilegate uses for Crossfire. It's just like this isn't the way to go about things. I would say, and it kind of proved out to be a major epic disaster. And I feel like, and here's some speculation on my part, it feels as if they've given up on that region due to how Crossfire X turned out, which I think is a huge mistake. And you're really just kind of opening that up to your competition to really jump in and start working and making moves with all that talent out there. And for NCSoft, I think they're mostly a mobile kind of, they mostly work with mobile, right?
Right.
So we know everyone's trying to get more into the mobile scene. A lot of the console platforms are going to start making more mobile games as time goes on, because that's where the majority of the growth in the gaming industry comes from. It comes from the mobile side of things. That's not necessarily not necessarily going to affect us PC and console gamers in any direct way. If anything, it just provides those platforms with more revenue to work with and more money to work with to kind of fund some of the projects that we actually do care about. So I mean, it's a good partnership. It's good. I'm happy for them that they made that deal, and hopefully a lot more stuff comes to fruition from it.
Yeah, I definitely agree. And once again, shout out to the screenshot. Man looks very, very happy in that picture, doesn't he? It looks so good. Hey, man, I love people that just look comfortable. That only look like a fake smile. That's a real smile. He's like, yeah, I'm happy. And I'm going to be done with this in the next 6 months.
Right. Yeah, I'm making moves.
I'm making moves.
And I'm going to get up out of here, and I can just watch from a distance.
Here. Yeah, I'm going to watch it all happen from a distance. Shout out to you. All right, moving on to the next topic. Let's talk about the children not wanting physical games or just digital or games in general. It's like the survey came from, I have it right here. Do you know off the top of your head who the survey came from, Slomo?
No.
Yeah, I have it right here. So survey came from, oh, it was games. It was who actually did the website, GameIndustries.biz. So they did a survey of how many? Why does that say that? They did a survey of over 500 plus children, ages 10 to 17. Most are planning to ask for video game related gifts for the holiday. Subscriptions were the most popular gift idea at 39%. Followed closely by consoles at 38%, game accessories at 32%, and in-game currency at 29%. Surprisingly, only 22% of the children surveyed wanted physical games this Christmas. Slow-mo. Where are we heading, sir? Where are we heading? This is honestly where I think the reason you see the direction you see with a lot of these games, because it's not us that they're marketing this stuff to. It's the people that's 10 to 17 years old that's going to be in the digital future and the ecosystem by the time that they get old enough to have children of their own. What do you think?
I think we have a generation of kids now where they're more inclined to play a game with touch controls that
Mm-hmm.
they are that they don't mind playing on handhelds. They don't mind playing without a controller. Um, all three, well, not all three, but two of my kids are like, for me, mouse and keyboard is very touch and go. Like I don't, I'm not comfortable playing with mouse and
Mm-hmm.
keyboard because I was comfortable playing with a controller my entire life. My son took to it very quickly with Minecraft. You know, it's they're different now, and so for them, they okay. For example, my kids,
Mm-hmm.
the only physical media that they've had for games has been with the Nintendo. Their Nintendo Switch and their DSs. That's the only physical media. With Xbox and now with my son on PC, everything digital. And they don't care for physical media and they don't like they don't think about it whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Everything my daughter has her Xbox Series S, all digital console, she's good to go. And so it's just I think as time goes on, those numbers will start to creep further and further, you know, in the direction of digital everything. And I mean, don't be surprised if one of these platforms launches a new a new SKU in a new generation, say 5 years from now, and there is no like the physical aspect is super optional or not option
Mm-hmm.
whatsoever. Like, I mean, even right now, where you look at the way PlayStation is kind of transitioned PlayStation 5, now you and I have launch systems, so we
Yeah.
have built-in Blu-ray drive, but that's optional now. If I
Yeah.
bought a PlayStation 5 for my son right now and got the new slim version, I'm getting like there's a choice. I could go with a Blu-ray player if I want. I could buy it and just take the Blu-ray player off.
Yeah.
It's they're definitely kind of putting that option out there. Hey, if you don't want it, you don't need it. And they're definitely going to be looking at how that plays out with the way people game in the future because they don't want physical media because and especially look at the way PlayStation has made, and you know this with GameStop, the way
Yeah.
they do digital media. There's only one storefront that you can get the
Can't.
digital media from,
Yeah.
and
You
that's them.
can't buy it. Yeah. You can't. Yeah. They're the only platform that you can't buy physical, like digital media for outside of their ecosystem. You can still walk into a Best Buy or Walmart or GameStop. You can still buy digital Switch games. You can buy digital Xbox games, even Steam games, and PC games and stuff like that. But the only thing you can buy for PlayStation that even remotely attaches to digital is currency cards, and that goes directly to their bottom line.
Yeah.
So I agree. The question really comes down to this switch is happening a lot faster than some people thought it was going to happen. Like, a lot of people would say that they wouldn't expect to see a digital only platform this soon like they have now. They do give you the option, but now that we know that this is the direction that PlayStation is heading in, and if we go off of the rumor leaked documents that Xbox had leaked out about, their future with their platform when it comes to their new systems, especially when it comes to the refresh of the Series X and the S coming in 2020, the end of 2025, 2026. They were rumored to not have a disk drive in the Series X, and it was supposedly end of life for the Series X version that we have now. If you go off of those documents, now, like I said, that's all with a grain of salt because even Phil Spencer himself came out and said that things have changed, plans have changed, and a lot of that might have to do with the fact that ABK has been purchased, and that gives them a bigger foothold with the casual market with that game and stuff like that. do we actually see next generation, this being the last generation where you'll be able to like comfortably buy a console with a disc drive, or do you think next generation they'll still give the option?
I think that's going to be very different depending on the platform. And this is just my speculation. I think Xbox is going to go all digital. Like
I think so too.
I even think that they're going to have I think they're going to go with a 2 SKU approach again, and the lower SKU is just going to be a cloud device, and the
Ooh,
other one would still be a more traditional console with no disc. I think PlayStation will probably would still do what they're doing now, shifted PlayStation 5 to. I think PlayStation 6
right,
will give you the option of physical media, but you don't need it. And I think Nintendo will always do what Nintendo's doing. You're always going to get physical media with Nintendo.
right. I agree.
So I
Yeah,
think
I think
they're
that's
all going to do something kind of different, but that's just my theory on it.
yeah, I definitely agree with that. So if you were to tell somebody, like any of your friends, about what the next generation is going to bring or what this generation, I know you skew heavily digital. I don't think you even own a physical disc in your house.
Do for the
With
Nintendo stuff,
Well,
because like
yeah, for
yeah,
Nintendo, they hold their value too. That's another reason why I
yeah.
will always buy. I think for me the biggest thing is I feel like if these I mean, yeah, you're thinking like super, super aggressive long term things. Like if the sky falls down, that you'll lose your content. I don't think Xbox or PlayStation, they're not going anywhere anytime soon. So I don't think you really have to worry about your content just being voted and you don't have access to it no more. But
Yeah.
I always look at it as like I like the ability to supplement gaming in some way, and you don't have that option going digital. Now, I tell people all the time at work, I say, hey, they say, you think I should buy digital or physical? I said, well, if it's a game that you're going to always want to keep and you're always going to go back and play, buy it digital because there's no
See,
reason to
I
bundle
don't
around
even
with a
think
disc.
I don't even think that's the argument, honestly, when it comes to this new generation. And something Capono just said is kind of the reality that I deal with. I know you deal with it
Hmm.
somewhat too. Excuse me, hold
Yeah,
on. Capono was saying kids just want V-Bucks or Roblox credits anyway, and that's true. Like
exactly.
my daughter doesn't ask me, "Hey, daddy, can you buy me?" Because she doesn't have like she's 8, so well she's 7. She's going to be 8 in a month, so she doesn't have like the ability to just buy whatever she wants on her Xbox. So if she wants something, she has to come to me to get it. She doesn't go, "Hey daddy, I want to buy that game. Can you get me that game?" She goes, "Hey, can you get me some Robux?"
Yeah.
That's what she wants. She wants Robux. She doesn't want a game. She doesn't want to play Starfield. She doesn't want to play. She will play a little Forza Horizon after I showed her how to play it, but she don't care. She will play a racer in Roblox before she plays a racer in an actual like real arcade racer that's very very good. Matter of fact, my son, I got done last week. I was chastising my son because he got this PC I built him. He
Hmm.
got access. He game shares with me on Steam, so he's got access to my massive Steam library. I have
Hmm.
Spider-Man remastered on there. Spider-Man's his favorite superhero. He loves Spider-Man.
Right.
He has played probably 30 minutes of Spider-Man Insomniac Spider-Man.
Hmm.
I walked into his room and he was playing Spider-Man last week. But guess what
Nice.
Spider-Man he was playing?
Which one?
Some knockoff Roblox version of Spider-Man. And I was just
Oh.
like, what? And look, I try to allow them to, I don't want to be like that overbearing. Hey, you should be playing these. These are real games. Like play this. Like even though
Yeah.
I kind of think Roblox is kind of whack, right? But I'm an old dude. I kind of lost it. I was just like, what are you doing? You're playing this trash Spider-Man garbage in Roblox, and sorry if someone, whoever the Roblox creator that made that game, I apologize, but it
I
looked kind of janky.
apologize.
But instead of an actual really good game, I'm just like, what are you doing? You know, I just can't. I can't deal with it no more. I just let him do what he
I
do.
will.
I can't force
Yeah.
them to so I think we have to get out of this because we to get back to the point, we kind of create entire discussions on what's going to happen based upon what we want or how we will view things and what would work within our worldview of what's gaming. And there are newer generations that, unfortunately for us, are going to soon to outnumber us because as we get older, and you know, sorry to be morbid, but people die or people
Right.
fall out of gaming or whatever. They are every year growing as younger generations get old
Mm-hmm.
enough to play more mature content, old enough to get jobs and buy their own games or their own Roblox or Fortnite V-Bucks or whatever. And they already out kind of outnumber us because when you look at and I think Matt Piscatella with, I forgot what they call NPD now, but when he showed the most played games on like PlayStation and Xbox, and then the games that generate like the most revenue,
Mm-hmm.
they're all, it's none of the first party stuff. It's all third party live service content. And it's all content that most people in the gaming circles that we rock with say, I don't play that. Nah, I don't play that garbage. I don't play even I play Fortnite. I'm all in on Fortnite. But most people shun the stuff that is the most successful.
Right.
Well, not most people. Most people that we interact with shun that stuff. But
Right.
that's the games that the kids are all into. And so, of course, this is why you see PlayStation chasing that kind of thing because they see the way the seas are moving. They see what's needed and what's necessary, and what's necessary for them to also remain successful in their own high the console part of the gaming market,
Mm-hmm.
but also to grow is to have that kind of content while also providing the content that got them where they are.
Right. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah,
And that's the funny thing because with me, both my kids, I was, I get my youngest daughter doesn't play as much on Xbox where my older daughter does. She is the one that pretty much takes advantage of my Game Pass account. And that she's tied, and they both are tied to my Microsoft, so they're in my family. So I get like the email every, they say their weekly, activity and stuff on the system. And I was looking at like the year, trying to gauge how much she spends on games. And she only really plays. She like her favorite thing is Resident Evil and Mortal Kombat. She loves Resident Evil, Mortal Kombat. So um bought the $100 version of Mortal Kombat or $119 version of however much it costs. And then, she buys all the Resident Evil. So she even bought the digital, like they came out with like a standalone digital version of the Resident Evil, like a movie. She went and bought that. And then like she plays Dead by Daylight. And so how much money do you think my daughter spends on Dead by Daylight over the course of a
Oh,
year?
oh man, I can't even imagine.
Slow
I
mo.
hate that game, by the way. I call it death by boredom because that game looks so
slow,
boring.
slow,
And
man.
yeah,
Let me tell you, when I looked at the historic history of just that game alone for just this year, and this was like probably a month ago, I did it. She has spent over $170 just in that game. Now that's not bad, but now granted, we're talking about a kid that she just graduated high school. She just started working, literally her first job ever 2 weeks ago. So all of this has been supplemented by either us giving her money or her just getting like Christmas or birthday money and stuff, or just saving money on her own whenever we give her money in her PayPal account. So, or her Cash App account. So that's just on that game. Like she bought her own she buys Resident Evil herself. She bought the Mortal Kombat game herself. You know, I gave her a little money towards it, but she spent most of the money herself. But I never given her money for Dead by Daylight. And she's literally like $170 in that one game. And I asked her, like, what are you buying? And she shows me like dude, she puts our Fortnite skins to shame in that game. The shame. She has so many skins in that game. So
does she have that Nicolas Cage?
She does. She does.
Why?
She does.
That thing was so strange when they showed that.
Yes, she does have it. She does. She has like so many different skins. It's kind of crazy. She buys them in the bundles and stuff. And then when it comes to my youngest daughter, she's a little bit more like me, but she's the Roblox kid. So she was watching me play Battlefield. And she was like, "Oh, this looks real familiar. It's like a game that I play on Steam." I was like, "Oh, what do you play?" Because I said, "You play Roblox." She was like, "Oh, it's called what is it called? Battle something." It looks Battle Bits, bro. She showed me this game. Now, this is probably like 2 months ago. She showed it to me. I was like, "Yo, this is yeah." I think it's on Steam, but she showed it to me. Yeah, she showed it to me, and I was like, "Yo, this is literally Battlefield in bit forms." And I was like, "It's actually really fun." So I wanted her to like really get into like playing regular Battlefield. So I like got her started on the game and everything, and she started playing it, and she really wasn't jiving with it. So I said, you know what, let me jump on the game and play Battle Bits with you. So I was jumping over there playing with her, having a good old time, and I finally got her to start playing Battlefield. She's been playing like a little bit, like nowhere near as much as I do, but she's been playing it. But the fact that she was like playing Battle Bits, bro, I was like, yo, this is literally Roblox in Battlefield form. What are we doing?
I do have to say this though, right?
It's a good game though.
It is a good game. There are some Roblox games that are like actually like I'm like, how did a Roblox creator make this? There's an actual first person shooter of Roblox that's like, it's pretty decent. I forgot the name of it.
No, it's like plays like Call of Duty.
Yeah, it's like Frontline something.
Yes, that's what it is. It's Frontline. My daughter, that's the first game. That's when I finally saw that my daughter had gun skill. I was like, I'm watching her run around like just popping people. I'm like, yo, and she's doing it with a keyboard and mouse. I was like, well, first of all, I wish I could play with a keyboard and mouse as good as you are right now.
Right.
But no, but it's just really it. But that's the future though. That's the future right there. That's what all of this stuff is for, like you said.
Yeah, you have a super chat, man.
Oh, okay, cool. Shout out to the homie Erodimus with the $5 super chat. Really appreciate it, bro. God bless this next generation of gamers where gameplay is more important than cinematics and graphics, like when we were kids. Yo, I agree, 100%. I did a video about 4 or 5 years ago where I talked about gameplay over everything. You know, it's like gameplay will always be king for me. Like, yes, we like the glitz and the glamour of the graphics and everything. And of course, you don't want to play an ugly, disgusting game. But if the gameplay loop is fun and the gunplay or just the overall loop of it is there, sign me up. And that's all that really matters. And you're right, we're starting to get back that with our kids. Really, that's really cool.
I think there's a balance for everything.
Yes, there is.
And I can enjoy a story-driven narrative game. And I could also enjoy a game that lacks a lot of that kind of stuff, but has great gameplay. Like Remnant 2. Remnant 2's story stinks. It sucks. It's a really bad story. And it's like, we didn't even think, like, because the first story for Remnant from the Ashes was bad. And me and Luca didn't think they could top how bad that was. But they did. They did with Remnant. Remnant 2 story sting. It's really bad. That's it. The game is fun to play. One of my favorite games this year. You know, it's a balance for everything. And I think if you lack in certain areas, like if you have a bad story with bad characters, you better have some fire gameplay to
Yeah.
make up for it. So like it has to be, that's the balance. You have to kind of do pull more weight in one area.
Right.
Like the reason why some people really like Telltale is that Telltale tells good stories.
That's true.
And yet
They
the
do.
gameplay is lackluster, but people fall in love with Clementine. They capture the essence of these IPs that they bring from different forms of media to video games with like just recently The Expanse. They really
Mhm.
nailed The Expanse. A Wolf Among Us. They took the Fables universe and really made that work. Um Tales from the Borderlands. They nailed Borderlands better than Gearbox does right now, which is the very next topic is that. So it's
Yeah.
like when you are really good in a certain area, people can forgive the weaknesses that you have because you nailed this other stuff. Now, when you disappoint people in the areas that people expect you to be good at, and yet you still lack in those other areas, that's where we have a problem. That's
Yeah.
where, you know, those games become a disappointment or just don't live up to expectations.
Nope. Yeah. And that's the and that's kind of the disaster area. But you know, the biggest thing is as long as games are fun and they're engaging, that's kind of the recipe for a great game. You know, you get into the nuances of it as you get older and you start whittling down because, you know, if I think about just my gaming habits over my life, I was heavily into RPGs when I first started gaming. Then I turned into sports like in my teenage years. And then
Mm.
once I got to like 18, 19, 20 years old, I turned to heavy shooters. And I've been pretty much that for pretty much the rest of it outside of the looter shooter crowd part of it where Diablo and Warframe and stuff came in. But I had four different instances of types of like experiences that I went through. But the one thing that never changed, I never would play a game that was just terrible. Like, you know, you can see the gems that are out there, but if a game doesn't even have minimum expectations around it when it comes to it taking itself serious, it kind of just falls flat at that point. But
Yeah,
um,
yeah. For me, it was I played all the same stuff that everyone else played as a kid. Like I played Tecmo Bowl,
yep, same thing.
John Madden
Zigzag.
football.
Yep. Sports
I
talk
played
football.
right. Yes, yes.
Yeah, sports
Um,
talk, man. Joe Montana, let's go. Yeah.
Arch Rivals.
Yep, arch
Um,
rivals, streets of rage,
Straight punching people
double
to get the
dragon.
ball. Double dribble. Oh, you remember double dribble when
Yep,
you was
double
like,
dribble. 4-3.
when you would go for a dunk and then it would switch to
Like a
a
cinematic.
cinematic. Yeah, I ain't never seen anything like that before.
I
Yo,
was
like I used to always be in on those. Like, and then I for me, my first RPG was actually Final Fantasy 2 over here, but it's Final Fantasy 4.
4. Yeah.
And only bought it because the cover looked cool. Because
Yeah.
back in the day,
Dang,
I
that's the
went
only reason you bought a game is because of the
yeah.
cover.
I was in what was GameStop back then? Electronics Boutique.
Electronic Boutique.
I was in the mall at EB, and I'm like, I got my allowance money, and I'm like, I want to buy a game, and
Right.
there was no internet, there was no YouTube, there was no, well, even then, I don't even think there was really magazines like that at that time at my
Not at
age.
that time. It wasn't.
So,
Yeah.
I didn't know what like you would look at the cover of a game and you would look at the still shots on the back and be like, does this look cool? Do I want to play this? I don't know. And I just chose, like, my mom was like, hey, little slow mo, get it together. We're leaving right now. You better make your decision in the next 2 minutes. I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna grab this with the red cover because it looks cool.
Well, just
And
think about
and
yeah.
it ended up being a game I just fell in love with. And then I was just like, when Final Fantasy 3 came out, which was 6, even better.
Yeah.
Even free, I was just like, this is great. And then like I'm getting into an argument with this kid and like years later, this kid in school, I'm like in ninth grade, and this guy's like, no, Chrono Trigger's better than Final Fantasy 3. And I was like, I'm ready to fight the guy. I'm like, shut up, you don't know what you're talking
Ready
about.
to
Have
fight
you
the guy.
played Final Fantasy 3, you loser? And he's like, have you played Chrono Trigger? And I was like, no. So then we decided to trade. So we traded cartridges. And he was right. He
I
was
know you did.
1000%. Chrono Trigger was great. It's my favorite game of all time. It's the best game I've ever played. And the wild thing is that he fell in love with Final Fantasy 3, and we just decided to not trade the games back. We just kept them, which is pretty cool. But no, I like you, I went from RPGs. I still play RPGs, but like I really
Yeah, me
got into
too.
shooters after that. Like once I was like maybe like a senior in high school, and actually probably in college at that point. Because although in high school I was playing stuff like Rainbow Six and
Yep.
Ghost Recon,
Ghost Recon.
like more tactical
That's
side
where
of
it
things.
started at.
Right, but then when Halo came out,
Oh, it was over.
that was it was a wrap. I
It
ain't
was a
play.
wrap.
I only remember. I didn't play nothing else. Me and my friends all we was up all night.
Man, that
System
was
Link,
a
talking
yeah.
trash, run it. You know, it was great. It was yeah.
Remember when Halo 2 came out? Man, it was it was like a
I
no
had to
sleep.
still cover.
It was a no sleep marathon, bro. I think I stayed up like 36 hours playing Halo 2 when it came out.
I was in college. I had my GameStop reserve on the list. It was like over 1,000 people going to the GameStop in Towson,
Mm-hmm.
Towson, Maryland, and I was like number 6 on the list. I showed up at midnight. Everyone else was waiting in line like all freaking day. It was stinking, hungry, you know, sitting on chairs, you know, waiting for their time. And I just walked all past them, you know, like, yeah, I'm number 6. Got all the way to the front, got my steel cover Halo 2. Oh man, that was great. Walked on out, got home, went back to the dorm, played the game 2 days straight. It's just all I did was drink water and use the bathroom. That was it. I played that game 2 days straight, and it was epic. It was great. Those were the
Yeah.
days, man.
Listen, I hate to tell people that gaming is like, to an extent, gaming is better now than it was then. But the excitement level of gaming is, it's just like when you get something brand new, it's like you really can't be surprised by the stuff that comes out now. Like, yeah, you could be like the technicals of it can be really good, and the overall, like the size and scope of it can be great, but it will never, nothing will top when you first, like, think about when you was in Halo Combat Evolved. Think about storming the beach and taking a pelican, running out, and the music kicking. Like, I played that part over so many times, just storming the beach of Halo. I was like, yo, this is incredible. But if you think about how simple it is now, is you take it for granted. And there's way bigger set pieces and things out there. You can get blown away. I start thinking about the boulder fight inside of God of War 2018. Like, how you literally didn't know that you thought it was a cinematic the whole time until you realized you were getting hit and you were supposed to hit back. It was like
that was
it was sick.
Technical genius by Sony Santa Monica.
Yeah, technical genius.
The entire game is one shot. It's
one
never
shot.
like a cut here, a cut there. It's all one shot. And that fight, man, like that uppercut that
Right?
knocked the roof off the house. I was just like, my jaw hit the floor. I was like, what? And like how
it's
it
so
smoothly transition from you whooping Balder's ass to a cutscene to like not really a cutscene, but like cinematic, like scripted, then right
Yeah.
back. Yeah, I know we are far off the beaten path of the topic. Let's draw
Man,
this back.
this topic literally is
Yeah,
about,
I'm a
kids.
segue us to the next topic like
Yeah, go
this.
ahead. Let's do it. Let's do it.
We've been talking about our uh passions in gaming and genres. And I think both of us got transitioned into looter shooters when they became the height of things. I think uh, gaming has these ebb and flows of things. A decade ago was looter shooters. And it
Mm-hmm.
was like you gotta have a looter shooter if you're a platform or a publisher because that's how you can like get players who consistently keep playing your game,
Mm-hmm.
buying microtransactions, buying skins and out emote, all kinds of other stuff, new expansions. That's how you can get consistent revenue coming in. And then it transitioned from looter shooters to hero shooters. And then it transitioned from hero shooters to battle royale. And then now it seems like extraction shooters are the new wave now. Like games that were going to be like Arc Raiders was supposed to be a 4-player live service co-op game, and they delayed it because they're going to turn it into an extraction shooter. Bungie's making Marathon an extraction shooter. It seems like that's the new wave now instead of new battle royales coming out and stuff, which
Right.
is interesting because the topic of right now is, do you want another Borderlands game? Borderlands, which is a looter shooter, which is about, when it comes to the trends of what's hot, it's a little behind.
He's a
It's a
little
little
behind.
outdated.
Right.
And if you play Borderlands 3, which I enjoy, but not as much as Borderlands 2, like not even close, because Borderlands 2 was one of the best games I played, but story-wise, Borderlands 3 is awful. All the DLCs stink. But the gunplay was good and the weapons were good, but the skill trees weren't as good as they were in previous Borderland games. And so I don't know. I would say it like this. I do not think current 2023 Gearbox, after they failed with the new Tales of the Borderlands, after they failed with even though they say Tiny Tina Wonderland is a commercial success, critically it is not. And I know most Borderlands fans don't like Tiny Tina Wonderland. I'm one of them.
Right.
So to me, that's two strikes. And I'm not saying like hey, like baseball, like 3 strikes you're out. But being owned by Embracer, who's in a very tenuous situation as it is, you can't be developing guaranteed flops. In Borderlands 4, I have zero faith in current day 2023 Gearbox to make a good Borderlands 4 in the same game design as the previous ones. Like, if you're going to stay with an outdated game design, you better do it damn good. It better be hitting all the right notes, that all the nostalgia that people expect from what they got from that series before. If you're failing in any of those categories, you're not getting the younger generation in on this game. You're only really capturing the audience that's into looter shooters and specifically really into Borderlands. And if you
Right.
don't deliver them what they know what Borderlands is, they're going to be like, no, this ain't it. And they almost kind of felt that way with Borderlands 3. I don't think they can survive another disappointment. I think that if they do a Borderlands 4, this almost kind of, I kind of shudder to say this, but they need to go a different route. Maybe not quite the looter shooter that we normally want from them, but this studio can't do Borderlands 4 the way we want it done. They can't do it justice.
I just don't feel the thing with me with Borderlands is once you get that amazing story that you got in Borderlands 2, it's like if I had, just to be 100% honest, there has not been a game that's in that genre that's had that type of story, that great of a story since that game. Like, as much as I love Destiny and everything else, that story sucks. It's all over the place. Warframe just finally added their story and it's decent. It's I like it, but it was something that they patched it.
Warframe story been in there for over 6 years, man.
No, well, you know what I mean. I'm talking about, but it wasn't there. It wasn't there in the inception of it. You know, when it first happened.
But Warframe's a great example because Warframe evolves.
It did. It did evolve. It's in a completely different place now, and that's why that game still has a player base, because it still speaks to the people and it's giving people the thing that they kind of want from that. Borderlands just hasn't evolved in that same regard when it comes to like storytelling. Like, yes, they come up with other crazy ways and different weapons and different skills and abilities, and that's all cool and all. But the thing that made Borderlands popular, Borderlands already was a game where they had Borderlands 1, and Borderlands 1 was fun because everybody loved the gameplay. The thing that really took Borderlands to another level was that story and having Handsome Jack. And I just don't know if you can get another iconic, character or just people to be able to bring people back into a game like that again. I mean, I know it can happen. They just need to find a way to do it. And I just don't think, like you said, this studio, I mean, let's be for real. They've been dropping the ball on story for a long time now.
Right. And that's not their strong suit. So they need to either get people who are good at writing good stories or pivot Borderlands 4 to a game that is less focused on the story, which I hate saying that.
Right.
Because I love Borderlands. I love the humor. It's dark. I know it's dark. It's some of it is like stuff that you shouldn't laugh at, but you laugh at it anyway. And there's some people who don't get it, and they're just like, "Hey, I don't get why that's so funny." That Handsome Jack like joked about popping someone's eye out with a spoon, but it's funny to me. So sue me, right? I like that kind of humor, but it was also well written, and they were able to. And someone I think Arcade mentioned it in the chat before. Ashley Burks, who does the voice for Aloy and Kate I think Laura Bailey does Kate. She does the voice. She does Tiny Tina's voice. She does
Tiny Tina's voice. He does a whole bunch of voices. Yeah.
Her brother was the lead writer on Borderlands.
Yeah, he was.
He's gone. I feel like the soul of that story and its in the tone left with him.
Yeah.
Because he was able to write it well, and they haven't found anyone that can actually do that justice. So if that's the case, I'm not saying lose the tone of Borderlands, because that's like it's ingrained in the DNA. But if you can't write, you don't have people that can write stories well. Have your game design be less about that.
Right.
Like I'm not saying do an extraction shooter, but maybe actually create something new. Maybe create a new kind of genre or something, but do something different that accentuates the strengths of your current staff, because your current staff are not the people who made Borderlands 2.
Right.
They're different people. So you need to figure out how to get the best out of their talents instead of trying to shove that square peg into a round hole. It's not working. And I just don't want to see another like horrible story in Borderlands 4. Like, I refuse.
Yeah. I agree, and that's the downside of it. But people would love to see it, but only if they're going to do it the correct way.
Yeah.
All right, moving on to the next topic. We getting into the Xbox stuff now, so buckle up, everybody. About to talk about a lot about Xbox. Let's start the conversation with the CFO. CFO got a lot of people out here mad. Got people thinking that Xbox hey, they're gonna be third party, third party Xbox going forward. This is some of the stuff. I have it right here. So here we are right here. So first thing, CFO explains why Microsoft no longer reveals console sales. This is like one of three things that this man has said. He was like, at first, it was like, what are we doing? You're the Xbox business and you're not giving us console sales numbers. That makes no sense. But it's really the first point of us saying no. It's about content and services. Success for us is we where we can keep growing that content and services and service revenue double digits. If we can grow faster than the market is growing, we are taking share in that marketplace. And that's where we want to be. It's $250 billion market. We are not a $250 billion entity. Slow-mo, when it comes, okay, so what do you say when you hear that about why I rolled my eyes when I heard that part. The reason you don't announce numbers is because you just aren't good at selling consoles right now.
Right. If your numbers was popping, you'd be out there like, look what we
selling
did.
numbers.
Look at these. We breaking records out here, baby. Like
Right.
that would be you, but you not. So you shut up. Like everyone does this. Everyone does this. Like we don't, like Sony would do this when certain games don't reach the certain heights they want. You know, it's radio silence. Hey, that game launched. You know what's going on? Hey, how's Days Gone doing? Who the heck knows?
Right. So
Because when it's not selling the way they want it to sell, no matter what it is, they're not going to talk about it. There's nothing to talk about. Stop asking me. Is their approach to it? So, I mean that is what it is. But frankly, some of this stuff is stuff that we already, not even some, all of this stuff is stuff that we already knew. Like them talking about Nintendo and PlayStation. We gonna act like we ain't heard that before?
Oh, well, speaking of which, this is what he had to say about that. So they asked during the conference, Xbox CEO also talked about making Call of Duty a high margin first party business instead of a lower margin third party business for Microsoft, in which they mentioned driving high margin sales on rival platforms, including PlayStation and Nintendo. So that's kind of when we think that's an Xbox component of Call of Duty. Call of Duty, you go from, again, that low margin business to high margin business, Stress said. Then what you do is you also expand and say, we are now driving high margin sales on PlayStation and Nintendo. I'm like, that was already driving high margin sales on PlayStation. You're bringing it to Nintendo, so I'll give you credit for that. But it was already bringing high margin sale. It was like literally the game that sold the most on that platform. Slow-mo. What sold more than Call of Duty on that platform? Nothing. It was the highest selling game on both platforms. The fact that you can the fact that game literally sold the most in the year that it came out, and it charted in the top 10 the year after. Every Call of Duty does it. It always charts the year it comes out as the number one selling game.
And keeps charting.
And it charts the next year.
5 in the next year. Yeah.
When a new Call of Duty game comes out. So, Oh my God. So and then he gets into the whole, they want third party. Xbox is third party. Well, Xbox is a publisher.
Let me say something real quick.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because I'm sick and tired of this talk. Xbox been a third party ever since Minecraft was acquired. They have been a third party publisher for Nintendo and PlayStation ever since then. But they're also a first party because they have their own platform. And they make their own games for that platform. Nothing that was said by the CFO is anything that's new. None of it. We have known they want to put Game Pass on PlayStation for forever. We've known that since before the Xbox Series X came out. You and I were having discussions on BRAP about this back in 2019.
Yep.
This is not new news at all. Nothing has changed. It's the same.
What? Like, hold up. Here's the last thing. CEO Tim Stroud speaks during the Wells Fargo TMT Summit about Game Pass and Xbox Game Pass on every screen possibilities. He said, it's a bit of a change of strategy, not announcing anything broadly here, but our mission is to bring our first party experiences and our subscription service to every screen that can play games. That means smart TVs, that means mobile devices, that means what we would have thought as competitors in the past, like PlayStation and Nintendo. Game Pass is a high margin business for Microsoft, and the company plans to. Go ahead.
This is a bit of a change of strategy. We're still talking about the same thing we've been talking about for years.
Strategy. It's the same strategy.
Is it a change of strategy for you, Tim? Because you haven't been paying attention. Like I don't understand. Like what are you talking about? Like what did Phil say? Like 5 months ago or so. Whenever they did their little, I think they were with. Jeff Grubb was one of the interviewers. It was like a sit down. It was like him. It was Matt Booty. They were all sitting on couches trying to pretend like they were all buddies and stuff, like legs crossed, all like comfortable. It was like right after E3, they were just all, buddy, chum stuff, right? Like Phil Spencer, he addressed all this stuff then.
I mean, he
did the same thing.
Like pretty much a long time.
Acquired ZeniMax, because it was the same stuff going on when they acquired ZeniMax, right? The same talk going on that they were going to be a third party, they were going to get rid of the Xbox, blah 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 blah.
Man, listen, shout out to Dealer, shout out to the RDX podcast, shout out to Fonz. Anybody that listens to that show knows when Fonz is on the show, at the very beginning of the show, we always play the clip of Phil Spencer saying Xbox play Xbox games where Xbox Game Pass exists. It's always
that's not. This is how he said it. He addressed in the ZeniMax live stream where you could get Bethesda, where you could be guaranteed to play Bethesda games, and he said these games were guaranteed to be wherever Game Pass
exists.
And that covers everything. That's going to cover whether you play them on mobile. It's going to cover whether you're playing them on a PlayStation or a Nintendo. If they are willing to put Game Pass on, see this guy teabagging me?
I saw it.
Yeah, like this is the teabag match.
This is the teabag match, yeah.
Yeah, this is a teabag match where like he definitely regretted that afterwards, because we was giving him the business.
Yeah, he got it after this. He was like, Slobo was like, teabag him.
The whole team was getting Eiffel Towered after that. Anyway, this has been, they've been addressing this for forever, and it doesn't, like, financially. I'm not an economist. I'm not like, I mean, I work in business, but I'm not a executive, A-list executive with, in the big suites and everything. Like I don't do all that stuff, right? I just,
you at least a shed of office.
I went to school for business, but like it's not I don't do any of that. I do IT now. What I'm saying all to say is that I'm not on the level of like an executive that does all this business stuff yet. I can see that, like, primarily where they make their money from is through microtransactions of third-party games. They get 30% cut of all those. Where? Off of Xbox. They make primarily a lot of money off of subscriptions.
Mm-hmm.
Now, a lot of them are on those subscriptions for Game Pass are on, PC now, which is great for them, and it's stagnant on Xbox, which is not great. But a significant portion of that is also on Xbox. If you're trying to grow your business. And now they got Call of Duty. So now they're getting 70% of everything that's on, mobile, PC, console. They're getting a lot of extra revenue now. Great. If you're trying to grow the business, someone show me the math where it makes sense to get rid of part of your business that generates a significant portion of your revenue as you're growing. Like I don't see how that makes any sense. Now I'm also not saying that like maybe one day, like in 2029, 2030, or like maybe the next Xbox is the last physical Xbox. You never know. Like as time goes on and as cloud gets better, and maybe they can make it seamless, maybe can make it so that people don't mind playing on cloud more. Maybe the technology gets that great. I doubt it, but maybe there comes a point in time where people are primarily playing cloud instead of native. At that point, yeah, go ahead and make Xbox an app or a little like a Roku size device, whatever, right? And get a smaller footprint on people's entertainment center and with the same level of performance. Like, yeah, in 2032, that sounds like a great idea. So I'm not saying that like it's never going to go away, but even then, I think that there always going to be someone who wants to promote their own platform, because when you have your own platform and you're generating a lot of revenue from that, you're not just getting money from your games, you're getting money from everyone else's games that
Yeah.
sell on your platform. And I think that's something that they don't want to give up. And again, I'm not saying that's absolutely going to happen with the cloud gaming, because frankly, we know Xbox is primarily strong in the United States. That's where the bulk, North America is where they get the bulk of their presence from. We all know as Americans how bad the internet is here, how
Mm-hmm.
bad the infrastructure is, how politicized it's become, where it should be considered a utility. It should be considered something that is essential for every American to have, that if you own a home, you should have internet, period. Like the way you have water and the way you have electricity, but it's not. And that's all you're not getting when our government is electing the leaders of the FTC to be a dude who was a lobbyist for Verizon and
Mm-hmm.
ISP. Like, we're nowhere near being in a place where we can get this stuff rectified, where any American should have the kind of internet that I have. I
Right.
have 1 gigabyte down and 1 gigabyte up, but I am an outlier. Most people don't have that. Most people get 1 gigabyte down and like 25 up, 40 up, 50 up. Like that's not enough upload really for like the kind of gaming that you really want to do. Like it's we are so far away from where we need to be as a country for that to really work. And people may say, "Oh, I mean that's the case in 2023 slow mo." Yo, it need to be some significant changes
Right.
with the infrastructure of the country. We don't have not to get super in the weeds with it, but like it's only like the major metropolitan areas that have, or close to those areas that have really really good high broadband internet. When if you live in a rural area, it's not the same. You don't have that fiber laid by Verizon or AT&T or Time Warner, who was supposed to do this decades ago but elected not to. Like we don't have that infrastructure here, and
Yeah.
it's yeah, there's less people who live in those rural areas, but at the same time, like they can't be discounted. So
No,
off my soapbox, it's just yeah, it's not happening, man.
no, I agree. It just ultimately comes back to um they want it to be everywhere, and it mostly just comes down. I think the moment Xbox files, at least on the PlayStation side of it, I think Nintendo, I don't think they will really be threatened as much by something like this. I do think PlayStation probably wouldn't allow something like this to happen on their platform until Xbox is fully out of the console making business and they're just a third party. I think that could be when you see it really happen. But I also think that money talks, and if Game Pass does become this behemoth that Microsoft wants it to become, then it might behoove them to put it on there, because remember at one point EA Play was not on PlayStation because PlayStation didn't want a competing service. They wanted to sell those EA games on their platform, and EA was like, "Well, shoot, we're just not going to have EA Play on the PlayStation platform." And that's something that changed over the course of like the last, I believe, 2-3 years, and
Yeah,
they
and
finally put.
they still to be. I mean, someone in the chat correct me if they have EA Play on PlayStation, but as I recall,
They do.
EA Play on PlayStation. Hold on, it doesn't have all the games that Xbox EA Play
Oh,
gets.
that's a good question. Does it have all the games that Xbox
Yeah,
has?
and not neither of them get what EA Play Pro is
Which is
on PC, which
what's
is
this
those games
crime?
day and date. Like it's like that's what I have on PC. Like when Jedi Survivor came out, I was able to just play it.
Right.
And when Dragon Age Dreadwolf comes out, I will, tepidly install it and see if they butchered one of my favorite franchises or not. But I thought it was less games on PlayStation. For whatever reason, I don't know what that was. I know for certain at one point it
He
was.
says it doesn't have the okay. Miko says EA Play on PlayStation had none of the backwards compatible
Oh,
games.
that's a significant portion of it.
That is because
Like,
that
yeah,
makes sense because they can't play PS3 games on that platform.
yeah.
That makes sense. So yeah, and that is a real big reason why a lot of people were able to play like Dead Space and stuff like that for the 360 because it was backwards compatible. I do remember that. But yeah, it's gonna be interesting to see what it's gonna look like, but everything the CFO said, it's kind of what Phil Spencer said a long time ago. People just, it's like a new data point. Someone else is saying it. And then you got people out there tweeting and messaging Phil and Sarah Bond. Hey, can you elaborate on this? Can you give us some clarification? Are you going to be still making consoles? I'm like, dude, they told you this a long time ago. Everybody knows that their plan and their future is in Game Pass. And if
That
Game
said,
Pass,
that said,
Mhm,
it is on them to make sure their messaging is clear every
that's
single time
true.
they speak.
That
And so it is their fault when one of
yes,
them says something that can be construed as
true. This
not being what they've been
you
saying, or it can give people a different impression. So it's their fault. It's their fault that this narrative can exist because like maybe you need to stop telling Tim to talk. Like when Tim got, don't speak on Xbox stuff. Don't speak on nothing Microsoft gaming, Tim. Because every time you speak, we gotta go do
you
like
just
3 interviews undoing whatever you said, because people will take a portion of it, or maybe you didn't word it correctly or take it out of context, and then here we are dealing with the same arguments we dealt before, where Phil has to come out and make another statement saying we will always continue to make an Xbox, or we're going to make as
yeah.
many Xboxes for as long as I'm here, blah, 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 whatever kind of statement he ends up making. Or maybe that would be Sarah Bond at this point, since she's now president is there a president or CEO of Xbox? It's one of those, right?
She's president. Yeah,
All right. So this
president
should
of
probably
yeah.
be a Sarah Camp thing at this point. Because like, I mean, I'm not. I know some people would say they're trying to do the black woman dirty, but like,
Right.
why create a role for her and put her in a specific role of being president of Xbox that you don't intend on having around for much longer?
Right. Exactly.
So you just made her president or something for like the next 3 years.
Yeah.
Great job, Sarah. Thank you for sticking with that sinking ship. We're gonna move on now. Thanks. Like I just don't think that makes sense to me.
And while we were talking about Game Pass, we're gonna move on. Shout out to Remnant 1 and 2 being dropped into Game Pass yesterday. So
Mhm.
if you haven't played them, you got Game Pass. It's especially Remnant 2. I haven't played one, and I'm definitely gonna play it. We're just waiting for Luca to get time to go ahead and do it. But Remnant 2 is like it's amazing. I love it. So
Put your
good.
big
So
boy pants on, okay? So just saying, just like I feel that Remnant 2's reviews were a bit harsher than other games because it's
mhm.
it's a it's a hard Souls-like game.
It's up there. It's not easy.
Just because it got guns in it don't mean it doesn't follow that same kind of game design.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
you will get die a lot. It's just
Yeah. I always love that when Demon Souls came out, or not Demon, was it Demon Souls or Dark Souls? I think Dark Souls, the first Dark Souls. The
wait.
the
Demon Souls came first.
No, I know Demon Souls came first, but I think it was the first Dark Souls game that had it.
Okay,
When
okay.
you bought the collected edition strategy guide, in the
Hmm.
very first page of the book when you opened it, it said be ready to die because you're going to die a lot.
Hmm.
Literally on the very first, like it's like in big bold letters on the very first part of the hardcover book, and it says be prepared to die a lot. I was like, yeah, right. And then come to find out, yeah,
You die a
that's
lot.
you
Yeah.
die a lot. So it's definitely good. But let's move over to the next thing. Slow mo. Xbox tax. We talked about this a couple weeks ago. The conversation is still going on. A lot of people need to
The
know.
cabal, the cabal is still working. They
Yes, the
they
cabal is still working.
they're very upset that people are still trying to expose them.
Yeah, exactly. So, why don't you tell people to you, because it's like a lot of different, opinions on what Xbox tax is.
Mhm.
I was on a show with Boone and them yesterday, doing prime time with them for a second. They were talking about it over there. And you got Ryan McCaffrey on Twitter talking about stuff. You got, Dustin Legary doing the 3 hour podcast, did an open forum, which probably is not the best thing to do because you're going to get a wide range of,
He
of
probably should not have done that,
you
period,
probably shouldn't have done that. But
because
so
you
yeah, it
work
was it was it
for
was
the
it was
company that
pretty.
people think is the main culprit for it, but whatever.
Exactly. So Sloma, what do you think the Xbox tax is, or the perceived Xbox tax is for you?
The Xbox tax, and I think it's this because literally everyone that I see say that's Xbox tax is applying it in a way that is not like the previous person who says it's Xbox tax. Apparently, it's not reviews. Apparently, it's not clickbait articles specifically. It's it's whatever they want it to be. I don't like what you just said. That's the tax.
That's the tax.
You're not allowed to have an opinion. That's the tax. That's the way it appears to me. Now I know there are some cases where, like, people have brought evidence of clear bias,
Hmm.
unbiased games media, and my response to that is, well, yeah, duh. I mean, duh. Games media kind of sucks. Not look, not all of them. Some of them are cool, and
Right.
we're cool with some of them. But for the most part, a lot of them are. I'm not even gonna say a lot. There's a significant portion, but it's not. Now I'm not gonna say like it's all of them or the majority, but there are some enough of them that are unprofessional, that wear their bias on their sleeve, they're like the Metro UK review where the guy's like, Hi-Fi Rush is awesome, but I can't give it more, points or whatever because like Xbox has had a drought. Like that's stupid. No one should take that review seriously. They shouldn't. But there's never going to be a purely objective media. There's always going to be some biases. But what I find fascinating in how the narrative goes and how it's like almost like a moving target. Like people, excuse me, provide examples of the bias against Xbox. And then I can provide examples of just bias, period. And it's like, oh, well, that's different. Well, how so? For example, I remember when the Division 2 came out, and I was looking at the Metacritic score, and I saw the Metacritic score had dropped like 2 points. And I was like, from the day I saw it before, and I was just like, what the heck? What happened? It must have got a really bad review. And even though the Division 2 became somewhat of a disappointment overall compared to Division 1 with like content, but that's like, after, that's like post launch, post game content that you expect from a looter shooter. That's not what people really review the game on. I'm like, well, why would someone give such a low review to this game? And when I found the review and I read it, it made no sense to me that this was that this review made it into Metacritic. This dude reviewed the Division 2 and gave it like a 5 out of 10 or something like that. It was something really low because he don't like guns. The vast majority of this guy's review was complaining about Fox News, the Second Amendment, and one of the Fox commentators that he mentioned for some reason like 5 times. I'm just like, why are you bringing any of this? What does this have to do with the Division? And it was just like, he had one paragraph on the Division. And he said he tied all the other stuff he talked about because I believe the Division is like propaganda for gun rights or the lack of gun rights. And I'm just like, there's Call of Duty out here, bro. Like, are you serious? What are you talking about? He barely talked about the game. I actually kind of feel like he only played the game for like 30 minutes, just long enough for him to be comfortable doing a review on it. That's a terrible review. But I don't say because there's an example like that, there's a Ubisoft tax. I don't say there's a tax on the Division. No, there are sometimes really crappy reviews on games.
Right.
And let's take the video game awards. People are looking at the ongoing game category. Why? And I agree, Cyberpunk should not be in there. That's not an ongoing game. A number of different games could have been in that category. People bring up Sea of Thieves. They bring up Grounded. And I'm like, I notice y'all keep only bringing up Xbox games. What about Battlefield 2042? Oh, but Halo Infinite. Battlefield 2042 has more players than Halo Infinite. And you can make a legit case that Battlefield 2042 actually did more for the Battlefield community than 343 did for Halo Infinite and the Halo community. Because they came from a worse place than Halo Infinite did. At least Halo Infinite worked at launch. Battlefield 2042 not being in the best ongoing game category is a bigger miss than I think Sea of Thieves and Grounded in Halo Infinite. But how come y'all don't talk about that? How come that game isn't listed among the games that got snubbed? You're only listing Xbox games. I think the people who see an Xbox tax, they see it because they're only focused on Xbox. They're only focused on what helps Xbox succeed. and what promotes Xbox. And I don't think it's intentional. I think they just don't see the broader picture, that there are other games that got snubbed. There are other games that were more deserving for certain categories, not just Xbox games. And then they also tend to ignore that you got like Hi-Fi Rush that was given this flowers in this award show, but it's like, oh, but it's not for game of the year. I guess it doesn't matter. So
yeah,
I'm off my soapbox. You can
the
take it from
taxes,
there, man.
the tax is real. No, so for myself, I do think that it's more of I don't. So is the tax real? There are instances of where a lot of things kind of happen that I think a lot of people just perceive as that. And I think a lot of people just kind of got to realize that biases are going to be real. Like I don't like yes, there are a lot of entities out here, a lot of publications that you would think as media, you would think they would be a little bit more level in their response to a lot of different things or the way that they cover certain things. But you also just got to remember, like, yeah, it's a lot of these people, their jobs are to cover some of these things too, and they just happen to just love those things on top of it. That's kind of, like even when you're working at your job and stuff, like you hire people to do something that they're really good at. It's very rare that you're going to find somebody that likes everything or they can do everything. And guess what? Those are the people that, excuse me, those are the people that don't last too long in those positions, and they're the ones that turn into the CEOs and the CFOs, the ones that can just basically, put a lot of the biases aside, and they can become, more than just the sums of that one thing that they talked about. And I do think that for the most part, it really comes back to, with Nintendo and PlayStation being around for so long, Nintendo since like 1985, PlayStation since 90, I think 92, 93, no, 96. I just think I think that's just kind of built in. A lot of people love those platforms. And, if you go back and because people talk about like how the reviews are broke up, like, you get significantly more reviews on a PlayStation game than you will an Xbox game. Even when an Xbox game has the marketing rights, we were talking about this yesterday, you can see where something like Cyberpunk had the marketing deal with Xbox, but it had the most reviews on PC because the game had the best performance on a PC and people probably already knew that. And then next was PlayStation at like 50 reviews or 56 reviews. And then on Xbox, where the marketing deal was, it only had 16. And I think a lot of people look at stuff like that, like, well, why aren't these people reviewing these games on those platforms? And I'm sitting there like, well, people are going to want to review where they want to review at. Plus, on top of that, the bigger player base is that. Then you talk about the negative, like people talk about the negative spin that happens from media. And I'm just going to clarify this, and I don't want people to get upset about it, but I do think that a lot of these publications know that they can't really do a negative PlayStation article and get views on them, because the people that would watch those are the people that really aren't in this community like that. They're not the ones that's really hard up on everything that's going on in this community, compared to if they make a negative Xbox thing, they know that they're going to get views on it. We're kind of feeding into that. They know if they make a negative Xbox,
and why exactly do they know that? Because they have seen that
it.
They get more clicks and views.
They know
when they write something negative Xbox leaning than they do writing something negative PlayStation leaning. It isn't, oh, we hate Xbox and we're protecting PlayStation. It's what gives us the most clicks.
And that's all it's about. It's all about clicks and engagement.
What's going to get Xbox guys upset at us and sharing what they are upset about so that other people can look at it and get upset about it? And what's going to get PlayStation fanboys laughing up a storm and going, "Hey, look at this
Maximum
console war,
impact.
blah 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 blah."
Maximum impact. You're gonna get Xbox people complaining, PlayStation people laughing at them, and guess what? But this is the funny thing. The funny thing about it is, it's all because everybody has an opinion, and the Xbox community is way. I'll put it this way: the Xbox community is way more opinionated when it comes to things that happen on their platform than the PlayStation one is. And you may and when I say that, I'm not saying the PlayStation community is bigger, but the PlayStation community
but the demographic is also different.
That's the thing. It's completely different.
They don't care. The vast
care.
majority of them do not care about this stuff, and so they know if they write a negative, if they write an article like, "Yo, where's the PlayStation roadmap at?" It's not going to get as many clicks as talking about Starfield again. Or saying, "I already forgot about Starfield." How did you forget about something you just wrote an article about it? That's just idiotic.
Right, exactly.
Right?
It's idiotic, right.
And we already know these are the same kind of like contractors and writers and whatnot that get paid per report, per article. So they're going to push more content. Or what quote unquote content, whether it's BS or not. And they're going to be pushing narratives and things, especially if it gets more clicks, because that gives them, more leeway with the platform they're writing for. It's a game. And if this was the 360 era, it would be the reverse for PlayStation. But the leaning that you see, it isn't, "Oh, it's because it's Xbox." It's because you guys engage with it. What do you care what IGN says? Especially considering half the time, almost nobody in this community considers IGN credible. So why do now you care because they said something negative, but we're not going to talk about all the times they said something positive? What does it matter what they say? If you ignore them, if you stop making a big deal about their clickbait, they'll stop clickbaiting. It's cause and effect. Anything else you want to say?
No, it's something, bro. It's something. I mean, I don't, like I said, I just think that as Xbox fans, like the people in no, I don't know if the people in the chat do this, but I see it a lot on Twitter from a lot of other people. But as Xbox fans, I do think that we kind of overblow a lot of stuff that does happen. I'm not, and the thing is, I don't think that it's not unwarranted, but I also tell people all the time, you know what you're getting yourself into if you start going down that road. Just like I said with Dustin and Gary doing that stream earlier, like you can't be upset or mad at the outcome of what you did or what you put up on that stream by doing it, because you should have knew how that was going to turn out. Because
one more thing I wanted to say. I want to say this real quick and then you can continue. The way I forgot what it's called. It's like a 3-letter acronym, but there is something that these outlets use to push their content, and when something gets a lot of clicks and views, it will, whatever they use automatically re-uploads it again or tweets it out again on like social media platforms. So people would say things like, "Oh, well, this clickbaity trash article was shared like 4 times by GameStop."
Right.
Really, it's like GameStop manually shared it 1 time, but because a lot of people engaged with it, console war stuff on both sides, whether to poo-poo it or to champion it, it got enough of a percentage of the views or whatever they were looking for that whatever it is to then upload it again, to get it pushing it to more eyes, more tweets on about it, or more postings about it will actually then increase those views and even more. And so it really just comes down to ignoring really trash journalism. I'll take it outside of the gaming community, right? Like, look at it and look, if you work for IGN or you know, any of these outlets, no big whoop, you know, it is what it is. Take them like the National Enquirer, right?
Right.
When you're at the grocery store and I mean, you see the National Enquirer, you know, right near the checkout line, and it says Tom Cruise is an alien, and it says Beyonce is also an alien, and you just go, I mean, seriously, come on, and you just roll your eyes, and you put your stuff on the conveyor belt. You don't engage with it because you know it's ridiculous stupidity. But there are people who do engage in it, and that's why they write that nonsense, right? But meaningful human beings go, that's stupid. Beyonce's not an alien. Tom Cruise definitely is, but like, no, I'm joking. He's not alien. But it's just like, you know, you know that like you don't engage with bad media. We have to start taking that into account. Like there are like, and I don't mean, I'm not gonna get political, but there are certain U.S. based political channels or sources that I choose to ignore because everything they say is slanted and biased for a certain demographic, even though the people who work there don't even believe in the things that they say, and it's been proven in their personal lives and whatever else. They just say it because it's profitable for them to do it because they're people who believe it. I ignore those media sources and I lean more towards, you know, the actual media sources that are as objective as they could possibly be. They do show some favoritism in certain ways, but they just give you the news. Like, I don't, when it comes to tech tubers, I don't listen to Linus Tech Tips because Linus Tech Tips is wrong too much.
Right.
I listen to Hardware Unboxed. I listen to Paul's Hardware and Gamer Nexus. Like, you have to start to curate who you choose to give your attention to. And if we did that in the gaming community, you wouldn't see any of the, hey, like they're treating Xbox this way with this platform. Hey, they're saying this and that. So who sees that? Look at those Twitter accounts. Look at how many followers they have. Look at how many retweets and quote retweets we get, and how many of your content, like things that you say on social media, is based upon what they said.
Mm-hmm.
Stop engaging.
Right.
That's all I gotta say.
Nope, you're good. You're right. Yeah. So yeah, until people decide to do that, it's going to continue be something. Like I said, it doesn't say that it doesn't exist. I just think that until you don't really care about it anymore, you know, and like most people don't, like, you know, now if you're doing like a show or something where you want to have conversation and discourse around it, that's fine. But I be seeing so many people that have nothing to do, like you don't got a channel, you really don't got any followers on Twitter, you're just saying stuff just to have an argument back and forth. And I think that's where the disconnect really starts to happen, and then you start getting that pile on effect from just everybody talking about it. And I think, and then that's when it turns to more than it needs to turn into. So, but with that being said, let's move over to the last topic. Going to talk about Xbox saying stay tuned to the Game Awards. And we really don't know what they're going to do, but I'm going to ask you this one simple question, Slow-Mo.
Mm-hmm.
What is the thing that what is the one thing you know you're going, what is the one thing that you want to see?
Okay.
And what is the one thing you hope to see at this show?
The one thing. Okay, the one thing you mean from Xbox or just in general?
Okay, well, do both. Do both. We'll do one. We'll do what you want to see in general from Xbox, and we'll do one for each one. So what you want to see from the show in general, and then we'll do for Xbox,
Okay.
and then same thing for what you think you'll see.
Okay. I think what I want to see from Xbox is also what I'm going to see. So that's like an answer for both of those questions. I
Okay, that
intend
works.
to see Hellblade gameplay,
Yep.
and I expect I think that's what they're going to show. I think they're going to show Hellblade gameplay. It just makes sense. Hellblade was first shown at this forum. It was shown the second time at this forum. Like it is also, there's going to be no other event in gaming that's going to have more eyes on it than the Video Game Awards. Last year, they had 113 million people watching live across the world. Like, you want to promote Xbox and the Xbox ecosystem outside of just the United States, there's no better place to do that than here. Regardless of how you feel about Jeff Keighley or the Big Game Awards or the fact that they are nominating coaches, esport coaches who didn't coach, and games are nominated in categories that don't make any sense. Forget all that. The venue and what it provides is more important than any like feeling of being snubbed or anything like that. Like, use the platform for what it is. You're gonna get no more opportunity to get eyes on something potentially really good, high quality content that you're coming out with next year than right now. So do what's best and show Hellblade 2. Show that gameplay. Hopefully it's fire. I'm expecting it to be fire. And if it's really good, you're going to get a lot of people thinking like, man, I can't wait to play that on play. Oh, yeah. Guess I better play this on my PC. Or maybe I go buy an Xbox. Like this is how you get like that, start to lay those eggs, right? What I would hope to see in general is Hogwarts Legacy win the Player's Voice, the Player's Choice Awards.
Facts.
Because I want to see Jeff Keighley say the words, and our winner for Player's Choice is Hogwarts Legacy.
Right.
Because they clearly went out of their way to make sure this game did not get nominated for anything, because they are afraid of upsetting particular groups. And he going out of all that, he going, if it wins Player's Choice, or it passes into the second round. If for those out there who haven't voted yet, the Player's Choice votes are happening right now. Hogwarts Legacy made it to round 2.
Yep.
So keep voting, okay?
Don't give up.
But that's what I will hope to see. But as far as reveals go, I think we're going to see GTA 6 there too. And I'm hoping this for Rockstar to still be Rockstar. Like, I've been kind of like, that game's going to sell crazy, right? Like it's when GTA 6 comes out, whenever year it comes out, it's going to be the number one game sold that year. Forget Call of Duty, forget any other game. I don't care what it is. It's not outselling GTA 6. That said, it's been a long time since GTA 5. And I feel like Rockstar has had, like, they've lost founders, they've lost key talent. I wonder if they still that dude. You know, I wonder if they're still that guy to that can deliver. And so I'm kind of interested in seeing how that turns out. So that might actually be, as far as games go, like an actual game, the one thing I want to see the most. I'm curious the most about. What about you, man?
Yeah, so we're in line with what we want to see, what we hope to see, and what we think we're going to see, Hellblade needs to be here. It's lived literally 90% of its, life when it comes to like announcements and stuff or anything that comes out for it at the Game Awards. And I think this is a really good opportunity because I do think the game is going to come out next year. I do think it's going to probably end up being their close to either their third quarter or fourth quarter game. Well, probably not their fourth quarter game. But I do think it's going to come out middle of the year towards the third quarter of the year. So probably September. So definitely want to see that. When it comes to like the Game Awards and then another thing that I want to see, I kind of want to know what's going on with the Coalition. I know we're not going to get an actual Gear 6 or anything like that, but it would be really cool to like be teased on something around, that Master Chief Collection style stuff that, Special Nick has been teasing forever and stuff. And I think that would be another really good thing that they could actually bring. That could be something that could be like an early release, like sometime around February, March. And we finally do get something like Marcus Phoenix collection or something, and have those games redone or remastered or brought up to like a better overall palette when it comes to like the Gears games. I think that would be something really, really cool that we could actually see there too. But what I really think is going to mostly happen is I think they're going to show us something like, I don't know what game it's going to probably be. It could be Perfect Dark because they have been working with Crystal Dynamics for a while where they're doing like a lot of stuff in the background. I can see us hearing Joanna Dark's voice and them having like put up a screenshot of the actual screen of the actual title of the game, and then they're saying something like "see more in January" for the Xbox Xbox event.
Developer Direct,
yeah, for a developer direct. That's what because I don't think they're going to really. I said outside of Hellblade, I don't think you're going to see anything monumental from them, but I can see them teasing something that's going to like kick off the beginning of the year for a developer direct at the beginning of next year.
That'll be smart because then you're also capitalizing on that humongous audience and having them look forward to, maybe you can funnel some of those people to check out your Xbox Focus show that is going to have less eyes on it, but you want to take advantage of Jeff Keighley's audience. And try to funnel some of them into that other viewership outside of just the hardcore gamer that's going to check it out. Of course, that's actually that's a great idea. I hope they do that. If it's ready, I'm not certain.
It's ready.
Perfect Dark is ready.
Well, it may not be Perfect Dark. It could be anything. It's just something like it could be Perfect Dark. It could be actual gameplay of what's that? I mean, honestly, they could use Hellblade as that. They could literally show you, send you up running through the woods or whatever, and it might piss you off at first because you see just another cinematic trailer. But at the very end of it, it will say, see live gameplay or combat gameplay or whatever they want to say at this event. And then they could like kind of do it that way too. So I don't care what game does it. I just think that they're going to kind of use that as a bridge, like you said, with all of the people and all the eyes that are going to be on it. They're going to use that as a bridge to like kind of get people over, because I think that's going to be the best way of doing it. Me personally, I'd rather just show me combat then, because that's where you kind of showed the game off the most. But however they go about doing it, I do think it's just going to showcase whatever event they got coming up for a developer direct. When it comes to like the Game Awards in general, I've been going back and forth with the GTA thing. I don't know if they're going to do a full-blown thing. Are they going to do something like we just said with Xbox, where they're going to show off a couple of little things, but then they're going to do a really big deep dive and have you show up to like their own kind of event? The biggest thing with them, Rockstar doesn't need the Game Awards. The Game Awards need Rockstar. They don't need the Game Awards. Don't need them. I mean, we know that.
We know that, but like, Frank, come on. They said it's coming out. They're going to show something early December. The Video Game Awards it's going to be there. First week. It's going to be there. It's going to be. They don't need the VGAs, but they're going to be at the VGAs. So what? Literally, it doesn't matter if they need them or not. They're going to be there.
This is the funny thing, Slow Mo. The stream for the VGAs is going to be high. It's going to have a high number of people that watch it. But the moment the Grand Theft Auto trailer is dropped separately, it's going to dwarf that number.
Oh, yeah. It's going to hit millions.
It's
within
gonna be
hours.
worth it. In
Within
hours,
hours. Yeah.
within hours, it's gonna be probably the most viewed. I think the most viewed video on YouTube was like in 24 hours was like 200 and something million views or something like that. I don't think it's gonna hit that, but it's gonna hit some stupid number though. But yeah, but outside of that, man, it's just gonna be fun.
And let me clarify my points about.
Yeah, go ahead.
I didn't say GTA 6 was going to be a disappointment. I'm saying, I think that anyone who thinks that studios can never change, like you're in for a rude awakening. I'm sorry, but like every single studio goes through change, and their quality either goes up or down. It doesn't stay the same. So it is what it is. The since Red Dead 2 came out, one of the founders, Sam Hauser, whatever his name is, left. When having thousands of developers is fine, but not thousands of developers aren't making the decisions on game design. They're the ones who are implementing the vision. And if your visionaries are gone or they leave and you're replacing them with people who may not have as solid of a vision or solid on execution, that could potentially be a problem. I don't think it's blasphemy to say that potentially a game might be disappointing. Not saying it won't sell, because it's going to sell ridiculous because it's GTA, but it's not like blasphemy to say that maybe this game might be a disappointment.
Yeah, I agree. Nope,
Dan
100%.
Hauser, thank you.
Dan Hauser. Yeah, but it's gonna be a fun week, man. Video Game Awards. What day is that on, Slow Mo?
December 6th or the 7th. Let me double check.
It's the 7th, so that's a Thursday. So that's next week, and you'll be hosting it.
Right. So how you
want to go? How we want to do it?
Can you work? Can you go live earlier?
Yeah. I get off work at 5 o'clock that day, so yeah.
Okay. All right. So this is what we'll do. We'll do DPS early. We'll go live at like 7 or something. You know, do a little pregame show. Then we'll get into the show, and then the DPS that we upload to all the various podcasting apps and services that we upload DPS to on the replay. That would be like our post talk, our discussion on what we just saw after the fact. So
right. Yep,
it's gonna be a long stream. It's gonna be a long stream.
It's gonna be a long stream. We go get us somebody to do it with us. We already probably got the same person in mind. So we'll reach out to that person to see if they want to do it with us again.
Well, I got a couple of people in mind, but
well, I mean, who did we do? We did it with did we do it with Trevor Birdsong last year?
Yes, we did.
We did.
And Eric, I think Eric
was with us. So yeah, we got.
And I think Enrique dropped in for a bit.
Yeah, he dropped in for a bit. He didn't stay. Yeah, but we'll have some people to have discourse with and conversations with. It'll be a fun time. So make sure you just follow the Twitter account, and we will let you guys know everything that's going on over there. But with that being said, Slow Mo, first of all, thank you once again for your amazing input on everything that you have, and just being an amazing person as you always are. So please, everybody.
I'm sure your comment section on this one is going to be pretty.
That's fine. That's okay. they like. That's the one thing about my comment sections. They actually like hot takes. They get a little butthurt every once in a while, but they can deal with them. But let everybody know where they can find you, what you got going on with your channel, and everything else you got going on.
Slow-mo backslap. Yeah, I'll get mine in a second. Slow-mo backslap on everything. That's Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Kickback, Kick Push, Coast. Just all right. I'm sorry. Yeah, slow-mo backslap. Same name everywhere. There's a new looter shooter that's being revealed called, and I'm not joking with this, Project Triple L.
Huh.
I'm dead serious. It's Project LLL. Um, it's I think a couple of YouTubers who do a lot of content and looter shooters have talked about it. I've seen it. I'm not going to speak exactly on how I feel about it quite yet. You should expect a video on it after I do some research on the developer and some more research on what I can find about the game itself and what it's really doing before but yeah, look out for a video next week on Project Triple L. So yeah,
With that
and
being,
probably
go ahead.
lunchtime with slow mo on Monday again.
Cool. And with that being said, will Xbox Game Pass be on other platforms? This is the poll I put up earlier. We had 30 votes on it, and 27% said yes, PlayStation and Nintendo will have it. 57% said no, PlayStation and Nintendo won't have it. 7% said only PlayStation, and 10% only said Nintendo will have it. So
I voted no PlayStation and Nintendo because even though Xbox is offering, I don't think Nintendo or Sony is ever going to reciprocate.
reciprocate it. Yeah,
Yep.
definitely.
I mean, you can offer a great night, and if she says she don't want it, you can't force her to have it. That's some some truth for some of you guys out there that don't seem to understand what no means no is. So
no means no. And for that, and with that being said, you're already on the channel. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. We're working on some new stuff for next year. So beginning of next year, probably like the first couple of weeks of next year, we're gonna do a refresh of the channels and
new everything, new trailer,
everything.
new everything, new layout.
Yeah, Slow-Mo's gonna get his Slow-Mo's gonna get a hold of like Jay-Z so he can write us some bars. It's gonna be great. We're gonna we gonna turn it out in 2024. And with that, we really appreciate you guys. Shout out the channel members for this channel. I want to say shout out to Donnell Brown, FTW, Joey Phantom Kraken, the Black Card. I like the Black Card. That sounds good. Neil S., Erodimus, True Serum, Brat, Basement Radio Arcade Podcast, Stardust Acero, Ramon Terrell, Trevor Bursong, Hargy Shani, Corey Hale, Slow-Mo Backslash, DJ Oris, and that guy Smitty. Once again, you guys really appreciate all the love and support at that level, and can't wait to see this with you guys again on Slow-Mo's channel next week.
All right, on my side of things, we got Donnell Brown, J0387, Erodimus, Enrique, Hargi Shani, Truth Serum, Ramon Terrell, Homie One Kenobi, Gaming Forte, Corey Hill, Stardust Acero, and that guy Smitty. So yeah, we definitely appreciate you guys. Thank you for always supporting us, and we will see you guys next week.
Yep. Later, guys. Peace.